Da 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 da.
Listen.
Hello and welcome to Nintendo Voice Chat, IGN's Nintendo podcast. I'm your host, Casey DeFreitas, and I am here today with Tom Marks.
Hello.
Per Schneider.
I can't believe the audio is still not working.
And Brian Altano.
Hi.
Yeah, we got a new system up here, and it's fancy, but what we don't have is audio because the original laptop is gone, and with the original laptop is our sound effects.
Don't worry.
Somebody stole the laptop out of this room.
Honestly, it got misplaced. I'm 100% certain that it is somewhere in this
It's
office.
been stolen, and I believe you.
When people talk about IGN being this media company, it's actually just this room.
Yeah.
We do a lot with it.
Yeah.
And there's one guy who handles all the laptops.
We have like 60, 70 people cycle in and out of this room to review games, write articles, host podcasts, do videos. The Daily
right.
Fix is filmed in here.
Yeah.
All of our premier flagship shows.
Yes.
Lunch.
Sydney is behind that
And
monitor.
because this is the only computer in the entire office, I sometimes use it to do work.
Uh-huh.
And we have to take turns. So like
Yeah.
it goes all over the place.
Yeah, we did order a new typewriter, though, which we're going to get to write reviews on, which is cool. I'm excited for that.
It'll be a good time. So Brian,
Hey.
where have you been?
Oh, it's Brian.
I was at E3 with the rest of you. But no, after that I was in Florida, and I brought my Nintendo Switch to a shoot. I think I can tell you guys about it.
I think you can.
Can I?
Yeah, because didn't somebody post a picture of you next to an
Yeah,
alligator?
but then I got a message saying, please delete all your social media posts about it.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, but Pear just spoiled it anyway. So anyway, no, I was in Florida on a shoot that involved alligators and also a Nintendo Switch.
Did you eat a pub sub?
What's that?
Brian.
What is that?
I've talked about this on the show multiple times.
I don't listen to this show.
You go to Publix and you get a pub sub.
Yes, that. No, I didn't. I thought that was like slang for like an alligator sandwich. I was going to be like, no.
No.
Didn't want to eat them and then go hang out with them because they would have sensed that their friends were inside.
They would have
me
known.
And then killed me. I'm sorry I didn't get a pub sub. What's so great about
I
it?
think that's a plot of Bowser's Inside Story.
You look like you're about to kill me.
All right, next
I've
time.
never seen that face before. Wow.
If anybody
I'm
from
sca-
Florida is listening, we apologize for Brian's
You're like legit livid right now.
I'm fine.
I don't buy that at all. Yeah, I had plenty of pub subs. Best sandwich in America.
Yeah, I
appreciate
really like
your
how
endorsement.
they mix the shrimp with the cilantro.
Oh, it's so good.
No.
They do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
and they have the really really long bread that they make this. It's so good. Free cookies.
Oh, like a sub.
yeah, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
yeah.
You do have
no,
free
yeah.
cookies if you were a child.
Well, come on, remind us quickly.
Wow.
What is in it so we can...
So, okay, you go to Publix and they have a deli and you can order ahead. It's really great. The bread is freshly baked, but you order a chicken tender pub sub and you get it tossed in buffalo sauce and ranch.
That's what I
or
got.
cheese dressing.
Yeah, it was a classic.
And then you got to add whatever you want, like
Cookies.
onions.
I didn't have
No,
lunch.
not to your sandwich. I didn't either. I had to skip lunch. I stuffed
only
that
had a
cupcake in my
cupcake.
face.
Yeah, same.
You guys had cupcakes for
Yes.
us?
Yeah.
Oh man, you should have been a pub sub.
A nice lady gave us a cupcake.
Who would have thought Brian comes back and the show goes off the rails?
I didn't even. This is not even my fault this time.
Yep.
So, Brian, we got to talk about some E3 games that we didn't get to talk about
Yes.
during E3. What are some games you played at E3 that you haven't been able to talk about yet that you are excited for?
So I actually don't know if this one is specifically coming to Switch. I forget if it was, but John Wick Hex. Did you guys check that one out?
Yeah, that I played that. It's at least coming to PC, and they said they don't know and aren't talking about other things beyond that yet.
I have a feeling it will. It feels like it could.
It feels like it
switchy.
could.
Yeah.
And the developer Bithell Games, Bithell Productions, Bithell Studios, Mike Bithell and his team have brought things to Switch in the past.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's on their mind at least.
He made Tom Marks Was Alone, right?
Close. Yeah, he made Thomas Was Alone. He's
Okay.
made Subsurface Circular,
Yep.
and I can't remember the name of the sequel, but the other Subsurface game.
Did you guys? We talked a little bit about Luigi's Mansion during the show we did live, but I got to play a lot more of it after that, and I really
good,
loved
huh?
it. Yeah,
Yep, same here.
I mean, we've all said this before, but all the new sort of very arcadey, actiony mechanics of like grabbing ghosts and beating the hell out of him, slamming him against walls and stuff like that has been really, really fun.
The
I
slam
heard-
feels good, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I heard they didn't talk about or show, Nintendo didn't talk about or show anything about Metroid Prime because they wanted people to pay attention to Luigi.
That is, I can't believe that they would admit that. We are
think it was
capable
a
of
rumor.
pay attentioning to two things at once.
speak for yourself. I would only have talked about Metroid.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think this is the year of Luigi?
Yes, this is the year
Year
of
of
Luigi.
I really hope not.
Why not?
I love Gooigi, and I'm all about that, but I do not want a year of Gooigi.
I desperately
Just because I don't want to sit through a year of Nintendo saying the word Gooigi to us.
desperately want someone to dress up as Gooigi for Halloween this year.
Really?
Someone has to make that happen with
kinda tough.
actual slime.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what you would have to do? Oh, with actual slime?
Yeah, I mean it's not real, right?
Like a green Jello costume.
yeah.
Okay. Let's talk to Max about that.
I was gonna say
man.
if you got like a full Luigi costume, but then you got one of those Green Man suits and put it over, you would basically choke. But it would look cool for 5 minutes. You have to poke air holes in it, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you
It's
know
doable.
this
It's do-
much about
it's doable.
Green Man suits.
Yes. No. And we did a bunch of live show interviews, which was really cool. Did we get to talk about Ultimate Alliance a little bit at E3? So I got to play a little bit more of that, which I really enjoy. Every time I played that game, I played with different people playing different characters and just teaming up and doing different things. I think that's going to be a really big deal on Switch next month.
Yeah, I think it'll be a big game. I played as Wolverine most of the time.
Yeah, me too. He
I like
rules.
that better than the flying stuff.
Yep.
I played
That
as
was good.
Storm, and she had a lot of very strong AoE attacks, but I also played with 3 characters from the Spider-Man Spider-Verse. And they had such cool combos together.
Yeah, they
It was really
basically
neat.
the entire level just becomes webs. Like they just attack everything at once. It's pretty nuts.
That's pretty cool.
I'm trying to think about what else I played. It was a blur.
You were on stage most of the time,
I
too.
was on stage most of the time. Yeah, and then towards the end, I got to see Cyberpunk and Fallen Order, which don't have any chance of coming to Switch. Well, never say never.
No, I'm gonna say
Cyberpunk.
never.
You're gonna just flat out say never.
Witcher 3 is coming to Switch.
Witcher 3 's
CD
coming- yeah,
Projekt,
and yeah,
you know.
anything
Witcher is still an open landscape. Cyberpunk's got a lot of stuff on screen.
Yeah.
A lot.
No, we'll see. I'd be excited to see that. Yeah, I feel really good about the Switch coming out of E3. Honestly,
Yeah, me too.
Like, and the fact that it had such a packed release calendar leading up to, and then immediately after, and then rolling into everything else we're going to talk about, it's a good time.
Well, it definitely also, and not to harp on that too much, but the kind of narrative, one of the narratives that came out of E3 was like, man, 2019 didn't get anything. Everything is coming early 2020 or sometime in 2020. The beginning of 2020 looks packed. But
I'm scared.
Because Nintendo mostly focused on 2019, obviously they had things like the Animal Crossing delay and they had the Breath of the Wild tease. But a lot of what they showed and a lot of what we got to play is coming out this year. And so really it is like, man, 2019 seems really dead, except for all of this stuff
Yeah.
Nintendo's
Except for
making.
Nintendo.
I'm actually kind of bummed that you aren't excited about the Zelda remake,
Which one?
Link's Awakening. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've heard of that game.
No, it looks fine. It's I don't know, probably
How-
my
so-
20th favorite Zelda game.
So I didn't see you
I'm
play
kidding.
it.
I'm kidding.
And we didn't talk about this on the live show, right? But when you got to play the demo, did you just go into like super speed mode
Yeah.
because you remembered everything? How
No,
far did
he-
you get?
yeah,
I
talked
talked
about
about it a bit a couple weeks ago. It was I kind of just pat the very friendly Nintendo PR person on the shoulder and was like, I got this. You can go get.
Oh, and you did the whole dungeon. Then.
I did the whole
Yeah,
dungeon.
okay.
I beat the boss, and then
Yeah.
Tom came back and played.
That's right.
And I basically stood over his shoulder and I was like, "Dig here for the secret seashell. Go here for this. Go here for that." But since then, I've actually been watching a ton of gameplay videos, and also, God, I got like amiibo flashbacks because I was like reaching out to friends in the UK to order the special edition $100 and something one that has the steel book case. Europe is getting amazing stuff this year.
Yeah, we didn't even get the Mario Maker
Right?
stylus.
They get the Mario Maker
What's that?
stylus. They're getting the Steelbook. They also got the same thing for Metroid a couple years ago that looked like a Game Boy game. It's awesome stuff. And
Man, I might need that stylus.
I know I had to pay a premium for it. Not the stylus.
Well, the good news is, folks, you can import because the Switch is region free. So
Yeah?
that's pretty cool.
not on your account,
our
right?
buddies at Game Explain did a cool video where they put up the Game Boy graphics next to the original graphics or the remake graphics. I guess they'd capture their Let's Play and then try to recreate it at home. And I noticed something that in the first house in the game, there's a little pedestal that Link walked up to and was just like, "Huh, I don't know what this is, but I think a piranha plant would fit here perfectly." And it's kind of like,
Oh.
oh, that wasn't in the
Can
original
we
game.
Can we use our Piranha Plant
Amiibo?
amiibo to
Possibly.
break out the house?
Yeah, so I don't know how that's going to work. If you'll be able to like unlock stuff in the game or statues. One of the things that I was talking about with Zach Ryan that he suggested, because he can't be on the show anymore, but I will still take his ideas and put them here on behalf of him. Hi, Zach. is he suggested that maybe it might be something like how in Wind Waker had that sort of like collectible photo thing where you could take pictures of things and then turn them into little statues. So yeah, I'm not excited about this game at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't wait.
So
I cannot wait.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
But since then, it's been this is week 2 after E3. I don't even know
It's
what time
been more than
anymore.
2 weeks now, yeah.
But there is a game out for Switch this week that we've all been talking about, and that is Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
That's right.
Our review of it went up yesterday by Damon, and he gave it an 8.8.
Caveat.
Yeah, big caveat. So he primarily played it on the PS4 Pro, correct?
Yeah.
yeah.
And it looks very different
PC.
on the PS4 Pro and the PC than it does on the Switch.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but first, overall impressions of the game so far. Like, do you like it?
So I bought it this morning,
Okay.
but I've watched Damon play and got Symphony of the Night flashbacks watching it. It is Castlevania.
Yeah.
Right? Like down to the sound. Now the music isn't as memorable. Like the classic tunes obviously are burnt into our brains from playing Castlevania, but it looks like Castlevania. The battles are like it. The power-ups, it really uses that Metroid style setup where you get new powers that lets you open new doors that you couldn't before, get new powers for like jumping and all that. It's really fun. It's a good game. And I just started the Switch version, and it still seems good.
Yeah.
But there's some issues.
No, I've been tracking this one for a long time. I'm a huge old school Castlevania fan. The GBA games are some of my favorite of all time. I'm still waiting for Konami to do the right thing and just sort of drag and drop them. Recently, we got the Castlevania collection, so that's a good first step. This is one of those like Kickstarter darlings that actually materialized and is good, which is something I can't say for.
Well, if you, I mean,
What?
we owned a Wii U when that Kickstarter went up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, games take a long time.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
if you still own the Wii U, you're kind of SOL, right?
Well, I think you can move that over to the Switch version.
Okay.
So weirdly enough, I think 60% of the people who backed this game backed the Switch version or backed the Nintendo version.
Yeah.
And so I've tracked this game a lot. I've been playing it at preview events where I think I told you guys I played it at PAX East and was just like, it did not look good. And the next day they were like, we redid the graphics and it does look good. So that's been cool. But yeah, I'm about an hour into the Switch version right now, and it's definitely got some technical issues. I think it's totally playable. I will say that 505, who has released the game, immediately put out a press release the morning of, which is like really transparent and surprising, because I mean, they didn't just go, hey, like, enjoy. They were like, this has issues. We got it where we could get it, but we're going to keep getting it better. Like, they didn't just say, there's a lot of games that come to Switch that don't look great and they just get left there forever, right? And
should have been more delayed then.
I
feel like if you know that there are issues, then spend
I agree.
some extra time and finish it.
totally agree.
So here's the thing. It is, like Brian said and Pear said, it is totally playable on the Switch. And I played it for about 2.5, 3 hours last night, having not watched any new gameplay videos. I didn't watch Damon play it in the office. I was just completely ignorant to what this game looks like on other platforms. And I played it, and to be honest, my partner was watching me play it. Was like, oh, is this an old game? I was like, no, it's a new game. And I kept playing it, and I was like, this is fine.
Yep.
But then I come in here and saw the PlayStation version, and I was like, oh no.
I want that.
Yeah, and it just made me like.
Well, you mostly played docked, right?
I played it in docked mode.
So this is like this and Saints Row apparently are back-to-back sort of ports that look worse in docked mode than they do in handheld.
I think that's a lot of games.
That's so odd. I didn't know that was a thing. I always thought that like you could.
That's a noticeable thing in Crash too.
So here's what happens when you put it on your TV, and if you have a nice TV with nice black levels, you'll notice artifacting on like, you know, characters when they're zoomed in. Like you notice like the dithering between the colors. They're not blended properly. The color balances are off. There are issues with performance where it chops up. We haven't gotten this far yet in the Switch version, but people who said like once you add familiars and more stuff happens on screen, it'll chug down to 15 frames per second, which at that point, that's a real issue.
And I have not gotten to that point in the game where I have unlocked all of those things. So maybe I will get to that point and then experience those issues. But so far, like nothing has happened to disrupt my gameplay. It just disrupts the graphical integrity.
It
just does not look nearly as pretty.
I just want to be clear. The difference is really big. If you
It
see
is
the
kind
two
of
versions side by side on a TV, one looks very high res, very HD, and the other one looks like Symphony of the Night. I mean, it looks, ironically, the Switch version looks more like Castlevania, especially when you see it running on a smaller screen, whereas the other one, like all the art is now so high res, it's a little bit more divorced from the games.
And so the thing is, it's not a pixel art game, right? So this is a 2.5D, 3D textured Castlevania. And so when you pull back on like the stuff that's running under the hood, it just doesn't look as good. Some of the major issues I'm running into in the game, and Casey, I think, and you guys probably both experienced this, is jumping through doorways, especially the vertical doorways.
That was the one thing that was noticeably jarring, because I would jump up and that split second or so that it would take to load would kind of mess up my reaction time, so I would just fall back down.
It doesn't take, in a game like a Castlevania game, it does not take many of those moments to totally screw up the experience.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that this game, at least from what we've seen early on, is relatively playable, but even just a couple of those things when you're in a flow and you're really like, you've memorized patterns and then suddenly there's a hitch that just you weren't expecting, can really, really destroy it. And I really do hope that they address that sort of thing before anything else.
So I'll make this recommendation. If you own one of the other consoles, and the Xbox version is fine too, right? If you own any of those and you're primarily going to play at home, definitely get it for the other platform. Like it is a huge difference in performance. If you play it primarily on the go, the Switch version is still a good option.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you didn't see the other versions, probably wouldn't bug you.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Until the later performance stuff, hopefully that gets fixed.
Yeah.
I will point out that the other versions also do have their technical share.
They do.
Their share of technical issues as well.
That was the funny thing about Per, you saying, like, why didn't they just delay this version a little longer? Especially because there was that bug on the PS4 and Xbox version where anybody who played it at launch basically had to restart their entire save file.
A bunch of treasure chests in the game just like popped open permanently without you being there to open them, and they had key items you needed for progression, and you'd go to them and stuff would just be missing.
So there were a ton of people who just literally had to restart their game, which in a game like a randomized Castlevania is really, really a bummer.
Is it randomized?
Well, not random. I didn't mean like map randomized.
Oh,
It was one of those Castlevanias where drops in certain items and souls or shards, as they're called.
A loot percentage chance of getting.
I'm trying to remember which was it.
Random. Yeah.
It was like Dawn of Sorrow. One of the Castlevania games had initiated this like sort of soul system where you would like kill hundreds of enemies over and over, hoping for one of them to drop like a rare card that you could summon for the rest of the game. And Casey, you were saying that like you can actually stack those up and become more powerful with them?
Yeah, so the more of the same shard you can collect, the more powerful that spell becomes. And there is a limit to that, but then you can still collect them and then sell them at the shop for money.
Yeah, that rules.
Yeah.
I'm really into it. I'm sort of terrified to keep going forward on the Switch version because I don't want to hit any game-breaking bugs, but also I think it's like, maybe I'm just really craving a game like this right now, but I think it's playable enough.
Yeah.
That said, to echo what Per said, if you're really just going to mostly play it at home and you have another console, get it there. If you're looking for one game to play this week, get Mario Maker, I'd say. We'll talk about that later, but like wait a little while, and they said they're working on it.
Yeah.
They said they're patching it.
And it's not an impulse buy, it's $40.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, it's not like a quick $10.
Specifically, this is what their statement said. They said, "We have been listening to the feedback regarding Switch performance. Our goal is for everyone, regardless of platform, to be able to enjoy the game and have it run smoothly. We want to live up to your and our expectations. Throughout the QA process, we have been addressing performance issues in the game. Update 1.01 was published to Switch prior to launch and add content and improve performance. It did not accomplish as much as we had hoped, and we need to do more. We will have more details as we dive into the work. We thank you for your patience and apologize for the inconvenience." They're moving their resources specifically to fix the Switch version. So they're changing their initial plans of where they're diverting resources to make the Switch better first.
Good.
It's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
The bummer, I think, for anyone who sees the different versions, the bummer will be that in most rooms, the game doesn't do that much that it warrants this big step down in resolution as well. Like the Switch should be able to handle most areas in 1080p just fine.
Yeah,
but it does look muddy, and I think it's because there are some bigger boss battles where it would have chugged if they had done it at a higher resolution. So they probably opted to just not have any dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't make games at all, but it seems like it's
or ever.
But it seems like a weird like scoping issue if from the jump this was something that like didn't scale to Switch when so many people were going to play that game here, you know.
But I mean, again, like when you play it and you compare it to some other side scrollers on the platform, it should have been doable. Like
I agree.
It feels like this is a port issue and not enough time spent on making it, adapting it for the Switch.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I guess my final question on this is the Switch version worth your time if you don't have the other consoles? If this is your only option, is it still worth playing?
Yeah, it's a good game.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I would say wait a week or two, see if a patch pops up. If you're dying to play it, sure. But just know that, you know, obviously improvements are coming. But if you can wait, if you're patient, I know you're not. I know what that's like. I know what it's like to go to that eShop and look at those little rectangles and be like, how do I get that on my my system?
Maybe this will make people more tempted. But I think that getting to the core of that question is like, if you are a huge fan of all the mobile DS Castlevanias and you've loved those games and you've missed them, this is 100% going to scratch that itch.
Yeah.
It is absolutely that type of game, and it's performance stuff aside, a well-executed version of that game.
Yep.
And just as someone who usually avoids side-scrolling action games, like I avoid Metroidvanias, and I think the primary reason is because I'm not good at them. And I think
You bought the wrong console.
Well, here's the thing. I think this game is going to be the one that makes me get good at them, and then I will then be able to enjoy all the other ones because I'm that interested in all of the other mechanics and other things going on with this game that I'm going to get good.
Someday there'll be a Monster Hunter Vania and you'll be all in.
There's some hilarious stuff in this one too where like the story is actually, I was surprised by how much I'm enjoying the story, enjoying the voice acting, enjoying the writing, and the character customization hilariously undermines that because this is not a game-breaking thing by any means, but since you can put on silly masks and silly hats, you know, you have this character where it's like, these demons are killing human beings and I'm a chained demon, horrible person, an abomination. Am I even a human? Who knows? Like all this deep, really serious stuff. And then you walk into a cutscene with like
squeaky shoes,
fake elf ears, squeaky shoes, and a pirate hat on, and you're like, hey, let's go.
Which is like, they've never really, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe they've ever really done that with like the 2D Castlevania games where like you would just get all this stuff and you'd put it on. It would be like Veil of Awakening, but you wouldn't change your character.
I love that you actually see your accessories.
Yeah,
it's cool. When I found the elf ears, I was like, there's no way they're actually going to give her elf ears. And they did.
It's so good. Oh my God. No, it's so good. Now, there's a really good game in there. If you have to wait. If you need it right now, just know what you're getting into. Yeah. But it's still totally playable.
So let's move on to some news. So last week, we did miss a topic, and that was Animal Crossing will allow only one island per Switch.
Hey.
Yeah, so if you share your Switch with kids or with your spouse or with your friends, you will all inhabit the same island, and you can ruin each other's work. So what are your guys' thoughts?
So this takes me back to the
GameCube.
first time I played Animal Crossing on the N64.
Yeah.
When it was called Dobutsu no Mori. And you had a cartridge, and I think it was in the manual even, it encouraged you to lend your cartridge to other people because you would all contribute to the same place. Because it saved your game on the cartridge, so they didn't allow you to make multiple towns either. This is what that sounds like. Obviously, the Switch has the storage space to let you have different spaces in it.
Well, so the issue about that, I played it on GameCube, right? And my roommate and I lived in the same town in the game. And the main issue was that resources, like fish and bugs, I think they're infinite, right? But going into the store and like buying a carpet, they would just be sold out of that carpet for that day, right? Yep. And so my roommate would go into the store and just be like, this store is empty. This sucks. This is not fun for me. And he'd go down to the beach and he'd like catch all these barred knife jaws and red snappers, and he'd go to sell them to Tom Nook, and Tom Nook would be like, "Thanks, but there's nothing you can buy here." And all the animals would be like, "I'm tired of trading furniture today. I'm going to sleep."
Well,
like,
maybe they address that, right?
Maybe.
we don't know how it's set up.
This is part of it, though. I think this isn't a new thing. This isn't really a surprise for the Animal Crossing series, because it's kind of what they've always done. So it's not like it's some egregious, unexpected thing. It's just that so many Switch games have trained us to expect that on the Switch, a different account means a different save file.
Yeah.
And the fact that this suddenly doesn't, this is suddenly the older way, is extremely disappointing. And because I'd rather have the option, right? I'd rather at least have, okay, this is this account where it's one island and you can have different people playing on that island. But especially with this Animal Crossing, where they're giving you so much control over actually customizing the island, the idea that you could build out this whole other thing and build out paths, and then somebody else could jump on your Switch on their account and be like, "Oh, what's this?" and just destroy it all.
Right.
Well,
Is
Tom, you
kind
can
of a bummer.
You can always delete the other people's accounts.
that's
Block
also
it.
true.
Put a passcode on your Switch. Be done.
Yeah.
I get why they're not doing cloud saving. Like, I
Yeah.
understand the whole they don't want people to spoof saves and screw
Right.
stuff up with that. I
Yeah, now
understand
Rossetti
that.
doesn't have a job.
Yeah, Rossetti got laid off, they said. That was the official word from Nintendo.
Well, I think he might have a new, better job that maybe doesn't involve him screaming at us at 2:00 in the morning.
Hopefully.
Isn't he a minor?
Yeah.
Mr. Rossetti was the reason why my daughter stopped playing the GameCube version. When she was really little, she was so afraid of Mr. Rossetti. And kids always accidentally turn off a console without saving and stuff.
Yeah.
And so when she ran into it again the second time, she's like, "I'm stopping." Like,
Well,
because
I
he
can't
made her
do
like
it.
type out apologies and stuff. She's like,
Here's the thing about Mr. Rossetti. When you started the GameCube version and you had forgotten to perfectly save properly in the last one, the game would start up and it would be a sunny, beautiful day, and you'd have that little icon beeping above your mailbox, and your character would walk out with a shield, a shovel, or whatever, and then you'd walk like 3 steps and it would go like, and then he would pop out and he'd be like, "What the F, man? Like, you really screwed this up for me."
Yeah.
And then he'd be like, "Type in, I'm sorry, I'm never going to do it again." And you'd be like, oh my God. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
I forget which one was it the DS game that showed you his house?
What?
It like cut to like, there was this underground cavern where he lived, and he was just this angry dude in his
How
like,
many times were you resetting your save file
Yeah, what are you
inappropriately,
doing,
Brian?
I time traveled a lot.
This
And
guy,
so,
like,
I bent the rules of reality.
you broke the rules so much, you, like, saw his house, you, like, you were his buddy.
No, time traveling.
We didn't know
people-
each other. We weren't even acquaintances.
Time travel
I
is such a
followed the
weird.
rules.
That's true. It's Sam Claiborne does the same thing. He's just like, it's June, so the June fish are here, and I'm like, I caught those in December. I'm a time traveler. But time traveling is the reason that this game won't have cloud saves. Did you guys know that? Yeah, it's because like that would screw things up for everybody.
Yeah.
And so they're like, a small group of our audience cheats. And so everyone will be punished because of it. So because of me and my time traveling idiot friends, you guys don't get cloud saves for a game that really needs it.
Thanks, buddy.
Anytime.
I'm
Appreciate
trying to
it.
find a picture of Rossetti's house. I'm having a hard time.
Rossetti.
Really?
The Rossetti Surveillance Center. What is
There it
this?
is.
That's it.
Yeah.
What?
I told you. I don't know if he
Wait.
sleeps there.
No. What is this?
What are you looking at? I can't
We're
see
getting into
it.
that deep Rossetti lore. We
Yeah.
are researching the lore of a character who's not in this game.
He might be in this game. He just doesn't have a job of screaming at you.
What, he's just like a bum?
it
He's
is.
just like
Maybe
a
he
homeless
works at
person?
he works at Nookington's and folds clothes.
Wouldn't it be great if they made him like a townsfolk that you could get?
Oh my God, that'd be so awesome! And you
Isn't this
knock on his
fancy?
door.
Oh, yeah.
and
Is
yell
that
at you.
is that Rossetti's
that the
house?
house?
Yes.
In the video? Okay.
Yes, I think he sleeps there. That's amazing.
That's a bed, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, maybe if it's not, but that's why he's all angry all the time.
Oh.
Thank you, Nookpedia.com.
He sleeps on like a broken futon.
Back's probably all messed up. I'd be angry
Does he
too.
have kids?
This is getting too deep. This is more
Is
than
there
this
is there
more
Miss
than I wanna
Rossetti?
know.
Congratulations, Rossetti, on retiring. We hope that this Animal Crossing shared island thing won't cause siblings to absolutely freaking hate each other.
Yep.
But we know it will. So good luck with that if you're siblings.
Yeah, that's a tough
Anyway,
one.
there's some other news. Speaking of games that made people hate each other, like the Nintendo 64 with the Mario parties and Mario Karts. Aeon has announced Super 64 and Nintendo 64 HDMI adapter. Tom.
Yes.
Tell us more.
I'm in, by the way.
Yeah, it's this little cool kind of plug and play dongle that plugs into the audio video ports of an N64, and it just becomes an HDMI port. Oh, your mic is drooping.
I don't know
Looks
how
like you have a mic issue.
And
There.
a lot of people will be like, but what if you just plug in the audio video? And it's like, well, a lot of modern TVs are getting rid of that stuff, so it's not as common. And then other people are like, well, what if you just use an HDMI adapter? And that's a good point. But either those HDMI adapters will have lag, or they will require an alternate power source where they plug in into a power strip or something like that, usually. So the kind of the pitch of this is that it's lag free. It doesn't need an external power source. You just plug it in, and you can plug an HDMI into your N64, and it works on modern TVs.
Wait,
Oh, wow.
I said I was in, and then I just saw the price.
Yes. So this is the kicker. It's $150.
Why?
Tom, I'm out.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that honestly, HDMI converters are kind of pricey, but
Yeah.
this does seem very, very high to me. Another thing that it can do is it has something called a slick mode, where you press a little button on it, and it basically adds really minor anti-aliasing to your N64 games.
So they're doing some real processing.
Yeah, this isn't just like a plug, right? It is more than that, but $150 is a really steep price for something like this.
So it's probably aimed at companies and streamers and
Potentially.
hobbyists who really want to
I was
recover.
thinking something more like $50.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, Eon, the EON, all capitals, is the name of this company. Apparently, they also made a GameCube thing that is almost identical to this, which is sold out right now. But Janet Garcia actually said that she has one, and it works quite well. So we at least know that they have a good track record.
Awesome.
But yeah, if this thing was half the price, I would still be like, man, that's kind of pricey.
Yeah,
But
$150 is
$150 is a lot for an adapter that you can kind of get other solutions for.
Yeah.
You can buy a
get
3DS for that.
6 N64s at the garage sale.
But it is a cool little thing.
Yeah, it is still really cool.
And that starts shipping. You can pre-order it now, but it starts shipping on like July 22nd, I believe, around
oh, wow,
then.
that's fast.
Yeah, so it's a neat thing. Look it up if you're enthused by it.
Thanks,
And-
Tom.
Yeah.
Next up, Terraria is coming to Switch.
Woo!
Terraria has been on
Everything.
the PC.
Everything.
And for how long?
A million years.
Cool.
And
Something like at least 5 years.
And people play
6
that
years.
game for a million years
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
It's quite a long tail game.
It's one of the highest amount of hours I have in a game on Steam.
Oh, you too. Oh.
How many
yeah.
hours?
Hundreds. I'm not
Oh
sure
my
exactly.
gosh. So it has as much replayability as like Minecraft.
Oh yeah.
You don't build stuff the same way, but
No,
yeah.
that's the comparison it gets a lot of the time is
Yeah.
2D Minecraft,
Yeah.
but that is true probably for the first hour or so of the game where you're punching trees and building houses, and then it just sort of goes off the rails, and it's got these crazy enemy variety and huge boss fights, tons of different weapons,
so many
magic systems,
Yeah, loot, like crazy amounts of loot.
tons of
Yeah.
loot. It's a really, really cool game. Odds are you might have played it already because it was on Wii U and 3DS. It's been on mobile. It's been on PS3,
Oh my
PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox
Yep.
One, PC. And every single one of those platforms has a different
Ouya.
price.
It was on Ouya.
Was it?
Really?
I don't know, but something had to have been on Ouya.
We have an
I think
Ouya in the
it's
closet.
Terraria. There you go.
We have a Nuya in the closet, really?
Yeah.
That's mine.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
The one in the case?
So this is the weird thing about this yet.
You can have it.
I'm okay, thanks.
This is coming out on the 27th, so I guess the day this posts.
Yeah.
And I believe it's going to be $30. If I'm wrong about that, then I'm sorry. But that was the price it was on Wii U. But then on PS4 and Xbox 360, it's only $20, and then on PC, it's only $10, and then on mobile, it's only $5.
It's
so
a Switch tax.
it's just kind of weird that if it is that price, it's a little higher, and I'm not sure why.
yeah.
Well,
But I'm glad it's
Bummer.
coming because it's a phenomenal game, and you should play it with your friends. Because
Are you going to begrudgingly buy it like I did for Resident Evil 4?
Probably.
And then play it for hundreds of hours anyway and be like, this is ridiculous. How dare they charge $30? Yes, I'll buy it.
This is a good game.
I'm a little nervous.
I just did that for Crash Team Racing too.
Really?
Paid $40 for that.
I know it's got a huge following on consoles, but I am a little nervous about playing this game with controller. I know a lot of people love to, but it feels like a very mouse and keyboard driven game.
Can you play touchscreen?
I don't know. I think you could on 3DS, so
Yeah.
maybe they're going to bring some of that stuff over.
That'd be
I'm
cool.
not
I mean,
sure.
this is a total like sort of surprise launch, right? This is
Yeah, we've known it's coming, but we didn't know when. And then yesterday they were like, hey, it's out in 2 days. And the reason they did that is because they're making a physical version eventually.
Oh.
But Right now, it's just digital only because they were like, hey, the game's done and it's through cert, so like, why don't we just release it now?
Yeah, totally. No. I'm looking forward to it.
And real quick, I forgot to write this down. Actually, forgot to write 2 things down. So, hey, surprises, guys. But first up, some of the developers of Astral Chain said that if the first one is successful, they plan on making it a trilogy, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
So buy Astral Chain, and then we'll get more.
Unless it sucks.
Unless it sucks, in which case, be precognitive and don't buy it.
They were on our live show.
locked.
Yeah. They were on our live show at E3, and I was really surprised to find out that like a lot of that game is just being like a really good Samaritan cop who walks around like cleaning up garbage off the street.
Oh, and there's lots of cats.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It's
for that
really
game.
cool. I'm really into it.
There's a whole story to write about turning demons into cops in 2019.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tom,
Yeah.
give us your Switch stand update.
Oh yeah, this is really quick because I
Wait.
know everyone loves hearing.
We're
me talk
not talking
Switch
about the Switch stand again,
Yes,
are we?
this Genki stand. So I
Are
put
you
out-
are you on their payroll?
No.
Like, come on. Like, we all know games media is
Pear, not you
on the
two.
take.
Wildly corrupt.
Yeah. Like,
the
look.
big Switch stand industry is tearing apart games journalism.
I was able to buy a yacht just from controller manufacturers sending me bribe
I
money.
genuinely
Yes.
believe that.
Yes.
No.
So okay.
I just wanted to call out because I put out a call last week to if anybody knew where to buy this separately, and a lot of people hit me up on Twitter and chimed in, and thank you for all those people who did. Essentially, the way it works right now is that this isn't available separately yet. This really great Switch stand from Genki, which, Brian, you used the actual Bluetooth adapter and said you really liked it.
So I'm a dumb man for a number of reasons, but I backed this entire kit on Kickstarter for the Genki Bluetooth receiver to like be able to use Bluetooth headphones on Switch, and I tracked all of the R&D, and I tracked all of the sort of like they started doing all these little things where they're like, here's a case and here's a like little headphone adapter that you can use. It has a microphone on it if you want to play Fortnite. And at the time I was super into Fortnite. I'm like, this would be great. I'm gonna yell at those stupid kids that always yell at me when I play that game. And then they were like, do you want this stand? And I was like, no, I'm good. You guys keep it. And then like they shipped me everything, and there was a slot in the case for the stand, and I was like, I should have gotten the stand. And now we're here, and now I have nothing but remorse.
well, good news. The folks.
Were you able to hold it? Give him
Yeah.
the stand.
Here you go. The good folks at Genki.
Do I get paid to hold this, or does the money still go to you? I'm just kidding.
Still mine. No, they actually, the folks at Genki actually hit us up on Twitter and said that they are going to sell the stand separately at some point.
Nice.
So they are working. They showed like prototype box art. So they are still actually working on that. So you will be able to buy it separately. In the meantime, a couple people did send me links to something else from a company called 12 South. They make a stand called the Compass that is meant for iPads. It's a very similar design. It's probably just as effective, though it's a bit clunkier. It's a bit bigger because it is meant for iPads.
Yeah.
It's a little wider. It's a little thicker. It doesn't fold up like kind of like a switchblade like this one does. So yeah, there's a lot of stands out there, and I just want to thank everyone because this is really cool. And thank you, like Genki, for the information, and NVC listeners for sending me stuff and all that. The leads. That's all.
Yeah, no,
I'll
that's
shut
sweet.
up about stands forever now.
I look. I actually think it's a really good stand.
It's a
I
cool
just-
stand.
I just love your stand passion.
It's because like it's really hard to find a very portable, sturdy Switch stand, and then this one was just like checked all the boxes.
He's doing the thing at the beginning of the infomercial now where it's all black and white, and he's like dumping his Switch everywhere, and he's like, there's gotta be a better way.
Yeah, I'm
Nice.
that guy with too many
Pours
lines.
pasta all over himself
Oh,
inexplicably.
no.
I've done that playing Switch.
Really?
Very messy.
Yeah, it happens. I always boil pasta while making Switch.
Of course.
Take off all my Italian boxes.
I told you I didn't have lunch. Stop talking about food.
Let's head on over to Pub
I
Sub.
just keep reminiscing about that cupcake that I ate earlier today and how I'm not going to have a cupcake to eat when we leave this room.
You
I'm
guys,
sad
you
about
can't. You're adults. You can't have cupcakes for lunch.
I do
you
what
can.
I want, Brian.
Okay, fair enough.
I didn't have time.
I will not get in your way. I fear your wrath. Brought to you by Pub Sub.
I'm not actually mad. Please don't think that.
I don't. It's all right.
So we already talked about Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which is out this week.
Yep.
But you know what else is out this week? Mario Maker 2.
That's
Hey.
right.
And none of us in this room got to play it.
Ooh.
Except for Brian, who played at a preview event.
I did the preview event a couple weeks ago. I talked a lot about it on this show, right? Did
Yeah,
I?
yeah, you did.
I did. But no, Seth got a full review out the door this morning at 6 a.m. Give it a 9.5.
Which was Wednesday. Yeah,
Yeah.
9.5.
So Seth's been hogging
Likes it a
this
lot.
game.
Yeah. Tom, you
Loves it.
edited the review.
I did.
So give us a rundown.
He liked it. He thought it was good. In fact, amazing is
Yeah.
what R9s mean. Basically, the summary of his review was he thinks it pretty much does everything that the original did, but more and better and more clever. And yeah, it just sounds like a very well put together, expansive sequel. He really actually liked playing with a controller a lot, like building with a controller. He ended up saying in his review that he enjoyed building with a controller more than the touchscreen.
Oh, wow.
I've heard a lot of reports from other people saying if you're going to use a touchscreen with this, get a stylus that works. The 3DS stylus will not work. You need like a capacitive stylus, like they sold in Europe only.
If it works with your iPhone, it will work with the Switch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are lots of options.
Yeah. And then, he liked that. He really liked the story mode. He said it could have stood as its own game pretty much. It's very thin. There's not like worlds or anything like that. But the levels on display there are apparently very, very fun. The main complaints that he had was kind of what you'd expect, which is the online is good, but it's super hard to play anything with your friends, right? Like you can't play co-op with your friends directly online.
Only local, yeah.
Only locally.
Which they said they're patching eventually, right?
I think they said they're looking into it. I don't remember the exact wording.
That might be like that scene in
There's
Indiana
been some-
Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they push the crate into the warehouse and they have top men on it.
And they never think about it again. Yeah.
There's been some discord about that on our Nintendo voice chat podcast forums on Facebook, where people are saying that it's not available and will never be available, and some are saying it'll be available eventually.
Well,
We don't
see.
know.
It might be
Keep hope alive.
might be like, I mean, if they're supporting this with DLC in the future, remember the battle mode in Mario Kart? It wasn't
This is
there,
true.
and then suddenly it was there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
keeping.
Then the other main complaint was a similarly classic Nintendo complaint of the only way to play with your friends' levels is to enter a 9-digit friend code that you have to get from them, and it's just very, very slow and very confusing and not at all intuitive.
Right.
Which is, apparently the search functionality is much better. All those like tags and stuff really help, but yeah, they just sort of like fumbled with some of the online friend sort of stuff in a not altogether unexpected way. But beyond that, the actual game sounds very, very fun.
I think that what's really interesting about this, or even reviewing it, is that like Seth reviewed everything that's available right now. This game is going to soar, right? It's going to sell millions of units, but it's also going to live kind of by the long tail of how people interface with it and how people share levels and what they build. And I think moving away from the auto runner thing that became so prevalent with the first Mario Maker game, which people made these elaborate Rube Goldberg machines that basically played musical instruments and stuff like that, but weren't exactly the most fun levels to play. You can just kind of filter those out nowadays. Really interesting thing is there's a Twitch streamer, pro Mario Maker guy named Grand Pooh Bear. And he's awesome.
He was on the show.
He was on our show. I really want to get him back. I believe he's in San Diego. Shout out to him. He's a wonderful, wonderful dude. He went into the most insane minutia of all of like the patch notes basically that are happening under the hood and above in this game now. Just sort of things where it's like, now when you kick a shell into the lava, you cannot bounce on it. And like there's all these like weird little property value things that they tweaked now that he's like really digging into. And so I think that's going to change things. I had no idea that there was a scene like that in the same way like people look at like frame counting in Smash Brothers and you know, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that becomes something that the pro community latches onto. I can't wait to see this game grow. I can't wait to see videos go viral of insane levels that we can all watch people play and then download ourselves. Like that's going to be my favorite part of this whole process.
Well, and apparently one of the coolest things that I didn't expect, because we knew a lot about this game already once the reviews came out. We'd seen a lot of it. Apparently there's this whole tutorial sort of like lessons mode in the game that is unexpectedly in-depth, where it's not just here's how you use the maker, here's how you put the things, here's how you undo mistakes. It also goes into like actual game design lessons where it's like, this is how you engage your player, this is how you make a level fun, this is why you shouldn't troll players, right? Like this is how you can draw inspiration for your levels from other things, right? It actually teaches you how to make a fun level rather than just how to use the tools, which is incredibly unexpected.
Super cool.
And super cool.
I mean, I feel like they're low-key training the next generation of like Nintendo
Level
employees,
design.
and level designers. Yeah, I mean,
Maybe, huh?
That's what Seth said in his review, and you should really go read the whole thing
Yeah.
and watch the
watch
video
it.
because it's very, very funny.
Yeah,
and
he
it's
did
a
his
very
own
good review.
he did his own VO too, which
Yes,
is really good.
Seth VO is very good VO generally.
no, he's a wonderful, wonderful man.
And
I love that boy.
yeah, that's what he said in his review too. Is like he wouldn't be surprised if 10 years from now we start getting indie developers who are like, yeah, I learned how to make games in Mario Maker, and
Yeah.
then I, took C++ after that or whatever.
No, it's awesome.
So I do have a question block question that I want to bring up to this discussion.
Okay.
But Mark Tostigo, it's a name. Nintendo has not released. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry.
You got okay.
Nintendo has now released a new 2D Super Mario game since the release of the original Super Mario Maker, and I'm not entirely. Would you consider Super Mario? I know it says 3D in the name, but would you consider Super Mario 3D World like kind of 2D-ish?
Yeah, no.
It's definitely the in between of a 3D and a 2D
Yeah.
Mario,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, the skills required are different in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the precision jumping kind of stuff.
Okay, so Nintendo has not released a new 2D Super Mario game since the release of the original Super Mario Maker. It seems as though Mario Maker has killed the 2D Mario series in a way, as a new conventional game would seem lesser in comparison. Is there any way Nintendo can give the series a fresh identity again, and what new features would it take?
Number one, that's sort of incorrect because they did release Super Mario Run on iOS, which had a whole bunch of new levels
Okay.
and functionality. But I will say that like the weird thing that happened with the Wii U failing and the Switch just crushing it was that instead of getting a brand new 2D Mario game this generation, we got last generation's again, which was new for a lot of people. I don't necessarily think Mario Maker has destroyed it, but I do want to see them do something completely new and sort of in the same way they reinvented the art style with Link's Awakening and Yoshi's Yarn Basement or whatever.
Yoshi's Yarn Base.
I'd love to see them do something like that for Mario.
Yeah, and look, Super Mario Maker is a remix of everything that's there.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting a lot of the classic powers and suits, all of that stuff back. I do think there's room for them to grow with 2D and do something different. Just think of all the crazy powers they've introduced to the series over the years. They can do that again, right? They can give you a new Tanuki and Frog kind of concept. And then, yeah, I think art style, the series, I wasn't a huge fan of the new Super Mario Brothers look, and I feel like it's time to revisit that and do something new.
I was okay with that look, and then they made like 7 games.
Yeah,
on it.
well, maybe that was it, right?
And I think I think even more so, there's especially room to do that now that the 3D Marios have gone back to the sort of hub world format.
Yep.
Because Super Mario Galaxy 2 went towards the 2D Mario format of just walking down like linear paths that just go to different levels and sort of branch a little bit. And that was always something that was sort of more of the 2D thing, but now that the 3D Mario games are back to this sort of Mario 64 style of worlds, then that means that there is fertile ground for that 2D format to explore.
Totally.
Yeah.
And think of just the power set in Super Mario Sunshine. The entire kind of like water powered jetpack. Apply that to a 2D game. Something that they haven't done like that before.
No, totally. And that's how you distance yourself from Mario Maker, which feels like it's like, why would you make a new 2D Mario game when the community is making endless versions of that? New power-ups and a new art style is the perfect way to circumvent that.
That's it. I think we'll see more, but I don't think for a while. I feel like now they've had their re-release and they have Mario Maker. I don't think we're gonna get a new 2D Mario next year. I think they'll tap into another franchise instead.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I hope. I guess that's a better way of putting it. I hope that they do this. I hope that they go revisit this stuff, but I don't expect it anytime soon
But
necessarily.
don't do another Pikmin 2D. That's forbidden.
I agree, yeah.
Pikmin must be 3D.
Whatever happened to Pikmin 4?
Where
It's
is
running
that?
around in Mr. Miyamoto's garden right now.
They didn't want to talk about it this year, so we would focus on Luigi, Tom.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't think about Luigi, Pikmin, and Metroid in the same year. I don't know about you guys.
Pikmin
I need
4
a break. I'm about to sleep. I'm so tired thinking about 3 things in 1 year.
Pikmin 4 is a game that I will wait as long as they want to take with it. Just take your time, make it when you make it. I will play it.
Me too. I would like to wait until the end of the year.
I was hoping we'd see that rumored re-release with
I'll just take that,
new
yeah.
campaign added or whatever.
No,
the
totally.
rumor was.
I don't know.
So-
Love to see that.
We were just talking about Mario Maker 2, which is out on Friday, which should be tomorrow if you're watching this episode as soon as it comes out, which
cannot
is
wait.
Thursday.
I'm so excited.
I'm very excited
that
too.
out.
The 100 new single player levels is
More
exactly
than.
Yeah.
more than that's
It's I heard that it's a game that just stands on its own.
That's
it could
awesome.
have just been released,
Yep.
which is really cool.
Can't wait.
So also out this week is Devil May Cry and Graveyard Keeper, which Pear, I saw you playing that a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything about Graveyard
Yeah,
Keeper?
it's how do you describe it?
It's Stardew Valley, but instead of planting
Yes.
crops, you plant bodies.
So you are a graveyard keeper. The game starts with you dying essentially, and you're being promised that if you just
You're a
do
skeleton
well
graveyard keeper.
in your new role as graveyard keeper, you may be able to return to your loved one.
What
And,
is-
Wait a minute, you're not buried?
You're a skeleton.
You're still
you not a skeleton?
burly
Are you the-
Seattle
are you the
looking
character?
dude.
You're right. Never mind.
No,
Are
but
you the character in Ocarina of Time? What's his
I
name?
was gonna say
Dompe?
Yeah, Dompe. They should do like a Crypt of the
That would be
Necrodancer
awesome.
and like team up with these guys and just put
Yes.
Dompe in the game and give him his own side game.
No,
and
you-
Link shows up every now and then, pushes the graves out of the way, and he's like, "Stop doing that."
you're a pretty normal-looking guy. You have a talking skull who tells you everything.
Right.
about
Is there a
the world.
toilet with a hand in it, like in Dompe's graveyard?
No, but that would.
Can we
be
talk
an
about
awesome-
Dompe?
That would be an awesome crossover. No, but like you're restoring a cemetery, you're fixing graves, you are harvesting, you are putting bodies on an autopsy table, and yes, you can craft hamburgers by harvesting parts from your deceased.
Brian and I just made the same expression.
You
to
cannot
them.
get an alligator.
Dompe
pup or
is a
whatever it's
cannibal?
called. Yes.
No,
God,
Dompe.
that's good. That was a Sweeney Todd reference that two people got.
Wow.
I got it.
Thank you.
Anyway, it's a
Wow.
It's a cute 2D Harvest Moon kind of game
Yeah.
where you just happen to grow evil crops.
It's got a lot of humor to it. It's
Yeah.
not like a grim. I mean,
Yeah.
it's dark humor.
I'm just glad
like
Dompe
Sweeney
finally got
Todd.
his own
And
game.
it's been on PC for a bit. It's got
You're not gonna make it happen.
I'm making it happen. That's Dompe the video
There
game.
will not be that.
What about the owl from Ocarina? You think he'll ever get his own game?
There is one. I'm sure Ubisoft made it.
it'll be a VR
No,
game.
that was with hawks.
That was Eagle
No,
Flight.
Okay, that was
Falcon
Eagle
Age.
Flight.
Yeah, those are different birds entirely, everyone.
Isn't
Didn't
the
you do a whole Up at Noon episode about birds?
Probably.
Isn't the bird-
I wouldn't put that past
isn't the
myself.
bird the main character in Assassin's Creed? He's in every one of them.
Yes.
Yeah. There
The
you go.
one that goes scraw every time you go to the top
It's
of
like
a tower.
That's
It likes to
Eagle.
fly in giant.
That's
circles.
also an eagle. Yeah.
It's a mapping game.
Yeah.
Anyway, the
Wait,
graveyard
it's in
keeper.
Pokemon.
Yes.
Noctowl.
Anyway, Graveyard Keeper seems pretty cool. I don't know how like the long play experience is.
I hear so it's got fairly good reviews on Steam on the Steam page on PC. I do hear that it gets fairly grindy eventually, but it is a charming concept. That is
Yeah.
for sure.
So far, so good. And as the game doesn't do a lot. It's kind of pixel art looking, 2D, runs great. No issues with reading the text that I've run into, which sometimes happens with PC ports. But it's a menu heavy game with lots of items and upgrade trees and
It's one to check out for yourself, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not like immediately run out and buy it, but look into it.
I like it so far. I'll report back as I play more.
Yeah.
And we talked about, and so we were just talking about Graveyard Keeper, and next we are going to talk about Dandy Dungeon, which we talked a little bit about last week.
Love
and
it.
Pear, you're still super enjoying it.
Yeah, I like it.
Dude, I'm all about it.
Yeah, so I told Tom, you need to play this. This is a very Marxian game.
It was basically an order.
Yes.
Like it was basically my boss telling
Tom's like,
commanding
"What
me
is
to play a
this?"
game. Yeah. And
I think I showed you the title screen music, and you're like, "Okay, I'm getting this."
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's great. It's so great. It is so much sillier and I thought it was just gonna be a joke game, and it's like actually a very fun game. And it's definitely got those mobile trappings. Like you can feel that it used to be a mobile game, and to a certain extent, in kind of the grind that it makes you go through to unlock things. And like the inventory limits and that sort of stuff. But it does not feel to its detriment, and it's just a very fun game that's very silly.
What's the full title of this game?
Dandy Dungeon: The Legend of Brave Yamada.
Legend of Brave Yamada.
Or maybe not just Legend of Brave Yamada.
It's a good title.
Yeah.
It's a very good title. It's a very silly game. I'm all about it.
Yeah, to me this is one of the it's one of the must-owns that came with it. It's so silly.
It's so weird.
But
Dude, it's so
Yeah,
weird.
Pear just showed me a few minutes of it, and I'm buying it the second it hits the eShop tomorrow.
Yeah. Justin, who also played it on. Are you gonna play the music?
yeah, I'm gonna play the music.
What if we get a copyright strike?
Nah.
That'd be Bummer.
Oh, I'm not. I have a saved game. I can't go into the music.
How dare you?
Justin Davis, who played this on mobile a million years ago when it came out on phones, was saying that it does kind of similarly. It kind of has that mobile thing where you're going to need to do a lot of grinding eventually. But at least what I've played so far is just so cute and fun.
And I haven't played it. I didn't have a code for it.
I don't think you'd like it.
Really?
It has skeletons.
Okay. But I haven't. I don't even know.
Do you hate skeletons?
I'm so confused by that comment. My brain stopped working.
I wanted to see what you say. No, I think you should play it. It's really good.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. No,
I like how she accepted it and walked out.
I didn't know about the skeleton thing at all.
I don't. No.
You don't not love skeletons.
Yes.
Look, I didn't want to make a dragon joke. It has no dragons.
You're okay with skeletons,
I'm fine with skeletons.
but you're not crazy about them.
I'm not crazy about them.
I don't think anyone is really loving them.
I love skeletons.
You love skeletons?
Yeah.
You date a skeleton in Undertale.
Spooky, scary skeletons.
That's true.
It's because I loved, I really like Ray Harryhausen's work, and I'm very fond of skeleton battles.
Technically, all of us is skeletons.
Motion.
I don't know where we've gone.
Yeah.
I'm lost.
I have
Anyway,
the
So
list.
we're talking about games out this week, but I'm still playing a game that came out last week on the Switch, and I'm sure you guys are still playing other games as well. But I just really want to talk about Slay the Spire.
Okay, you're still playing that.
Man, so because I only started playing it 9 days ago, I cannot see how many hours I've put into it yet, but I can see how many hours all of my successful runs have taken. So if I take only my successful runs in which I have completed Slaying the Spire, I have played the game for more than 25 hours.
In a week?
In 9 days.
Wow.
And then how many failed runs do you have?
I don't even know. But I'm obsessed.
Wow.
And I'm admitting this to only NVC. Here it goes. So this weekend, the Monster Hunter Iceborne beta was out on the PS4 for Pro members.
One of the
or,
most important
PS
days
Plus
of my
members.
life.
No, man. And so it started on Friday, and I got home on Friday, and I played Slay the Spire. And then on Saturday, I played Slay the Spire. And then on Sunday, I played Monster Hunter Iceborne beta just long enough to beat the 3 missions and to beat the new Master Rank Rathalos. And then I played more Slay the Spire.
Oh, okay.
So I really, really like that game.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
telling Tom earlier today that I beat the 4th floor on Ascension level 1. And I didn't know that was impressive until
This is like she beat the final boss of the game on one of the higher difficulty levels, basically. And
Oh my God.
Like it is.
Are you writing the
that is
strategy guide?
Impressive.
I should.
Like that
Yeah,
is
can you please write the
impressive.
strategy guide?
There are 20 levels of Ascension,
I
and the
just don't
first
even
one
know.
will kick your butt on its own.
Have we told our audience like what this game
Yes.
is?
Yeah, we talked
Yeah,
about it last week.
I guess
and
we're
since-
it
refresh
is a
them.
deck
Since-
building roguelike.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I
Which
love
sounds
it.
like something I wouldn't like, honestly,
Right.
just from that description. But
Yeah.
playing that game, I really dig it.
Yeah, and I've gotten some tweets from people being like, I'm into this too, or
Yeah.
like asking if I'd recommend it. I 100% recommend it. I think it is a genuine Game of the Year contender at the end of this year. I think we're going to be talking about it in awards. Even if it doesn't win the big one, it's going to be discussed because it is just one of the best deck building games you could play.
And
this-
there's so
this-
much replayability. And
Disclaimer, as always, this game is published by Humble Bundle.
Yes.
Humble Bundle
Fair.
is
Yes.
owned by the same company that IGN is owned by, Ziff Davis Media.
But as we said last week, pretty much all that means is that we
Yeah.
forget we have to say that occasionally,
Yeah.
and they don't have any other interaction with us.
Yeah. All of our focus is on servicing the big Switch stand industry anyway.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, they do pay us directly
Yeah.
to promote their products.
Huge money out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
It's crazy, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that disclosure, like, man, it is such a good game. Like, it is. God,
So
I've been playing it
yeah.
for 2 years because it came out on PC in early access a million years ago, and it's so wonderful. It is so wonderful to see it come out on Switch, and suddenly all these other people are like picking it up and realizing how great it is.
I remember when you showed it to me, and I
Yeah.
said, "What's this card game?"
Yeah,
you be
yeah.
playing?" Yeah.
But man, there are 3 different characters with 3 different sets of cards, and as you play with them, you unlock more cards and more relics, which serve as passive abilities. And every day, you have a new challenge with a different set of rules, and give you like really interesting.
You'd hate this game, Ryan.
But why? Don't put this on me.
It has
And they give you a really
skeletons.
interesting set.
I
of
love
rules to play with.
skeletons.
It does have skeletons.
I
And
think skeletons
some of the writing
rule.
is just like really silly and funny, and it's great. You guys should totally play it. I love it. I talked about it last week too.
I
No,
will also
good.
say that you like playing it is worth it because it does not, as a lot of people pointed out, especially in my review from earlier this year when it left early access, it's not like the prettiest game in the world. You'll look at it and it's kind of like a little flat and a little ugly, and the character designs are like not bad, but just like a little weird. It's like a very strange looking game, but the actual core of it, the actual mechanics of playing it is like really, really, really
Yep.
good.
What are
Cool.
you guys playing?
I'm playing my friend Pedro.
I started that one too.
Yeah.
Are you good at it?
No, I'm not amazing at it.
I'm not amazing at it either.
I still struggle with the split shots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which on the controller is not doesn't feel as natural as it should be.
Yeah.
But no, I really dig it. It's a fun. We talked about this a little bit last week. It's basically a bullet time game.
Yep.
Where it's a 2D side scroller where you like jump and do flips in the air and you do dodge moves as people shoot at you. It could be a John Wick game, honestly.
Kind of,
right?
yeah.
Like, and it just
It's a lot.
feels
It's a lot
good.
goofier because
Yeah.
your best friend is a talking banana.
That's right. But if it just feels good, it's a really fun game. When you get good at it, you can do all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah, and it sort of nudges you to replay levels and get S ranks or whatever their version of that is.
Yep.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I want to keep playing it. It's very goofy and self-aware of that, which I appreciate, but also hyper stylish and violent, which is a beautiful mix.
When you pull off something great, like killing people while you're flipping in the air and
Yep.
landing a certain way, it just feels good.
Yeah.
It's just it's a fun thing. It's
No,
like,
totally.
It's like a great Matrix action sequence. I've been playing that one. I'm playing CTR Crash Team Racing, which I've seen it run on the other platforms. Playing it on Switch now. This is a competent port. It looks good. I mistakenly said the other console versions run at 60. It's actually they all run at 30. The Switch version is just bumped down in just in resolution.
Yeah.
It is noticeable, especially on the TV. On the small screen, it isn't. I'm mostly playing it on the go. It's a highly technical kart racer. It's a really good game. Along with Sonic and Mario, these are the top three kart racers out there. I would put this probably second after Mario Kart. It is harder. It's a difficult game.
It definitely is.
And the pulling off the power sliding can be pretty tricky.
From what I noticed when I did some Let's Plays of it, when you play it on easy, it's incredibly easy. And when you bump it up from there, it gets ridiculously hard. So it's got some weird sort of balance issues that I hope they kind of patch around.
It's not like Mario Kart where like the first race and when you start 8, you're going to win, come in first. In this one, there's a chance that you'll be fourth.
It's also like there is not really a deep bench of recognizable iconic characters to pick from in this game. Like you get like 2 or 3 guys in and you're like, who is that? Is that a tree?
I just love that one of them is just all these characters are like anthropomorphized animals, and then there's just a tiger.
Yeah.
And just a polar bear.
Yep.
Like they're not really, they're just animals.
Tiger's the cutest.
They're both
It's true.
adorable. I love them, but you have like this weird bandicoot man who's funnily shaped and wearing pants but not a shirt, and then
Yep.
you just have a naked tiger, and it's like, how did those guys hang out? Like, what's going on here? I don't know.
It's true.
Feel weird about it.
That's
Yeah.
what you were thinking about.
Yeah, it was.
It's also, if you've been playing Mario Kart your whole life, man, power sliding takes a minute to get used to.
Yeah, it does.
Like, if you didn't grow up with CTR and you're playing it for the first time in 2019, it is weirdly rhythmic, and that is so sort of antithetical to what Mario Kart does with their power sliding. So, yeah.
But this game has an uphill battle, as did Sonic Racing. Obviously, it is on the platform with the best Mario Kart game and the best kart racer ever made.
Yeah.
I mean, on the flip side, it's on a platform where people are conditioned to love kart racing games.
Yeah.
So I think there's room for it to sell well.
So if you're done playing Mario Kart and you're done playing it online, this is a really fun game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tom, you were playing Muse Dash.
Yeah, a little bit.
You want to give us a short rundown?
Yeah, Muse Dash came out. This is like kind of a guilty pleasure of a game I'm playing right now, to be perfectly frank. It was a mobile game. It's a rhythm game that the soundtrack is almost exclusively, like, as far as I understand it, Chinese pop music. It's like very, very bubblegum pop, and I'm all about it because I'm a total dork. And it's a 2-button rhythm game. So literally all you use is the left and the right trigger. I've been playing it on PC, full disclosure, because I could get it easily there. And I just needed, like, I was at home one day and I was kind of distracted and a little, like, tired and stressed from E3. And I just needed something to, like, not think about. And that came really in handy.
Oh, nice.
Because all you do is there's just 2 tracks, and you press the right bumper for the bottom one and the left bumper for the top one. And kind of the appeal of it is that the graphics are weird, and like the notes are these different enemies that you're punching. So it's basically a rhythm game just simplified down to its core. It's also a little like weirdly sexual, but not. Like the company logo is like Pero Games, just like the O's are just boobs.
Oh.
And then you get in there.
They're owl eyes. Owl eyes.
Like,
And then, like, all the characters, when you're actually playing the game, it doesn't seem very sexual. And then some of the alternate costumes you can unlock are just, like, basically, like, Playboy bunny outfits. Like, it's just kind of, like, weirdly sexual at times. And then other times you can just completely ignore it. And it's just, like, a very, very fun rhythm game.
When you said Muse Dash, I thought you said like mustache.
Me too. I thought
Yeah, I thought it was like a
mustache.
like a, yeah, that was like a mustache game.
Two words.
Muse Dash.
Muse Dash.
Okay.
It's definitely... I haven't played it on Switch, so can't speak to the port there. But it's a kind of neat thing. And the way they're doing it is usually when you buy it on mobile, you have to pay, like... I think it's either free on mobile or it's like $3 on Steam, and then you have to pay to unlock songs. The way they're doing it on Switch is I think it's $25. I might be wrong about that, but around there. And it comes with all the songs, and all future songs that are added to it are going to be free on Switch.
Oh, nice.
Which is just kind of a nice little quality of life thing for a console.
Nice. I like it.
do you guys have time for question block?
Yes.
All right.
I
So
have to be quick, but yes.
okay, we'll be quick. One question. Neil Tracey said, with Astral Chain coming out this summer, what's everyone's favorite chain restaurant? Is it Olive Garden?
How dare you? My peoples are crying right now.
Wow. No, it's Chick-fil-A.
They are endlessly crying over breadsticks. Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I love Chick-fil-A.
Really?
Yeah. I don't love
Chick-fil-A is another
Chick-fil-A,
Florida
but
guilty
I love the
pleasure.
Chick-fil-A sandwich. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I have one.
In-N-Out?
In-N-Out. Yeah. Oh,
There
for
you go.
sure. Yeah. Does
In-N-Out's
that
a
count?
good one.
Yeah. I guess that counts.
Why are we talking about food again? I'm so hungry.
I don't know if
about
this
you,
is my
Tom?
favorite, but I'd maybe go with the Counter. I really like the Counter.
Counter's good.
You guys ever
I
been to
don't know what
Publix?
it
The
is.
burger place.
Publix?
Huh? No. So I have an Olive Garden story,
Just trying to-
which is why I chose this question.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
This
Did
is about
someone
alligator
Are you
pups
guys
again?
ready?
Did somebody there take your Pokemon saves?
No. So I got my tonsils removed, and then I almost died and couldn't eat for 3 weeks.
What?
This is
And-
dark.
So after those 3 weeks were up and I was just able to start eating food again, I begged my parents for braised beef and tortellini from Olive Garden. And they were afraid to get it for me because they afraid me eating solid food that soon would reopen my wounds and send me back to the hospital. But I got it anyway because I promised to just eat the tortellini, and I very much enjoyed that solid food.
You didn't eat the braised beef?
I did not.
So is your answer
forbidden.
Olive Garden?
Sure.
You are like a wealth of just wonderful, insane stories. I never cease to be amazed at them.
That's so random.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I remember.
how is it not having tonsils?
It's fine.
You don't
I
need
no
that.
longer
She has a
have. I
microphone.
no longer have the fled living inside of my throat.
That's good.
That
Did you ever
happened-
go back and finish the dish and get the braised beef?
Yeah, of course I did.
All right.
No, this happened when I was 16. So it was a while ago.
It's amazing.
During that same time period where I was incapacitated and couldn't talk, I had a friend who repeatedly kept trying to call me to ask me about Nintendo, and I couldn't talk, so I couldn't tell her how to fix her Wii or which DS game she should take on her spring break trip.
Oh my! And
While I was like dying in bed.
this is like before texting, right?
Do you sometimes wake up in the middle of the night with that memory and you're like, oh,
braised beef and tortellini.
please, friends, please do not send braised beef tortellinis. Please.
That's
don't
their saying.
send-
It's when you're here and your tonsils are destroyed.
Yes.
And your family, you can eat half of some of our
I,
dishes.
I can never eat this dish now because I'm going to think of tonsils.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
It was soft enough for me to be able to eat. and that's
I
what
can't eat there
wanted.
because they trample on everything that my Italian family and
Yeah,
heritage
that too.
believes in. But
Have you noticed that Tom's really quiet now?
Because he loves it.
I'm so sorry.
I'm just craving soup and breadsticks, to be honest.
Why are you guys so hungry doing this show?
Let's get out of here. I'm
skipped
so
lunch.
hungry.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching NVC. We're gonna leave to go eat lunch now.
At 4 p.m.
4
Yes.
p.m. on a Wednesday. Anyway, you can catch NVC every Thursday at 3 p.m. on your favorite podcasting platform or IGN.com or YouTube.com. Guys, where can they find you, Tom?
At Tom R. Marks on Twitter.
And I'm Shiny KCD on Twitter.
Pierre IGN on Twitter.
And I'm Agent Bizzle on Twitter.
Thanks for watching, and remember, this is the only place you can
Get the beef.